30,000 years ago. Their fossils were first found in Germany, Neander Valley to be exact. This is what they were named for. Their full Latin name is Homo sapiens neanderthalensis. As well as being found in Germany, they are also found in the rest of Europe, Asia, and Africa. They lived in desert-like land and on the steppes of Asia in interglacial and glacial periods.
The Neanderthals were similar to modern humans, but they were stockier, shorter, heavier featured, had big bones, and an extremely strong jaw. Their brain capacity was from 1,400 to 1,500 cubic centimeters. This means that their brain was larger than modern humans.
The Neanderthals liked
Studies have shown that the Neanderthals were right-handed and had more manual dexterity than their ancestors.
the Neanderthals
Keep going.
Okay. The Neanderthals liked to eat slightly cooked meat that was cooked on hot stones. They also used plants for medicine, including the inner bark of a willow tree.
The Neanderthals had advanced fire to a point where they could preserve it throughout the night. They also had advanced tools. They had serrated blades, which they would use to scrape meat and hides. They would also use normal knives for ceremonial and religious purposes. Instead of using wooden spears, they used stone-tipped spears. Although the wooden spear was still used, but for a different purpose. They had a digging tool, which was crafted with a rock with a hole in the middle and 2 sticks. They made fish hooks and bone needles out of antlers. They had birch bark containers to hold water and other items.
The Neanderthals were the first to bury their dead with tools, flowers, red or yellow ochre, They would put a skull at the head of each one of their graves.
The Neanderthals used 2 kinds of shelter. One, they used caves, and the other, they used tents made with mammoth hide and branches.
The Neanderthals did not just walk around their camp naked. They were the first ones to wear clothing day and night. Their clothing was made from animal skins, which they chewed to make more pliable. This clothing was necessary for harsh winter periods.
The Neanderthals' language was far more developed than their ancestors. Along with clicks, grunts, and yawns, they also used short, choppy sentences.
The Neanderthals advanced their social structure way beyond their ancestors. Scientists believe that they named their children. There was a game played by the 2 oldest boys where they would set up a target and compete to see who would hit the target the most times with rocks or spears.
Final Cro-Magnon is going to be presented to you by Ella, Sophia, and Cole. Come on, get up. I'm going hunting.
We checked the lunar calendar last night, and it's a great day for hunting.
I'll go get your spear thrower. Be quick and be careful.
I'll go catch up with the other men.
I'll go get the basket so we can start picking crumbs. I'll meet you in the garden.
I can't wait for the ceremony tonight.
I know. It'll be exciting. It's about the success of the hunt, right?
Yes. My favorite part is all the music and dancing.
The squash look ripe enough to pick. I'll pick them.
I'll pick the peppers.
I've finished picking my share of the crops. I'll go inside and get the cloth to sew.
I like to sew mammoth skins the best because they make good beds.
It's tough, but reindeer skin is lightweight and warm.
And wolverine skin is good to keep your face warm.
Brethren, look what I have brought. The other men and I have killed a bear.
Let's roast this meat by the fire. I'll tend to the fire while you and Sophia go cut. While you and Sophia go cut the meat.
After butchering the meat, we will have a feast. Then we will store the rest of the meat for winter.
I'm so happy that Cole has brought home this bear. We will have oil for lamps. I'll have a nice bear skin to keep me warm. And we'll have enough meat for the whole winter.
It's hard to hunt because the animals always run away. But it's all worth it because we get good food. We hunters have to stay downwind and cover ourselves with dung. Then we can attack and drive the animals into pit traps.
I'll go check on the kiln to see if the pots are ready.
If they are, will you get mine too?
Yes.
I'll go collect the instruments so we can play music to celebrate my successful hunt.
This pot was hard to make, but firing it in the kiln makes it last.
I like using clay, limestone, or sandstone to make my pots. Now, let's all celebrate for the successful hunt.
your painting.
Thanks. I used charcoal from the fire to get the black on the horse.
Cro-Magnon were the earliest modern humans. They lived in America, Europe, and Africa. Their evidence is found in numerous cave shelters. Most of their evidence from their existence is found in France, in a place called Lyon.
Cro-Magnon's intelligence has increased compared to their earlier ancestors, Neanderthals. They were taller, more slender boned, had a skull like ours, they had a larger cranium dome, and there was not as much dimorphism. Dimorphism is the height or size difference between a male and a female.
Cro-Magnon ate wild geese, waterfowl, fish, and grazing animals. There was a new endless supply of food and plants. They planted corn, wheat, einkorn, emmer, and wild rice. They grew squash, peppers, and beans. They ground grain to make flour. A lot of food was collected rather than hunted, and they had edible roots, oats, nuts, lizards, and honey. Cro-Magnon invented the spear thrower. The spear gained distance and force. Cro-Magnon also invented the bone hammer. Men had sharp stones to throw, and flint was a favorite material for making sharp points. Cro-Magnon knew what plants animals wanted. They also knew when seasonal migrations began by using the handheld lunar calendar. They could hunt any animal. They attacked animals at river crossings, and they could drive animals into pit traps.
As you can see in our group, Cro-Magnon were capable of speech and were full-fledged speaking people. Unlike the Neanderthals, they could speak rapidly because they had a larger voice box. Cro-Magnon were the first users of a real language. They etched symbols on reindeer antlers.
Cro-Magnon lived in small huts that were made out of mammoth skin sewn together, and they were the first to actually sew using a needle. The houses looked a bit like teepees and were held together by wooden posts. They each had a large fire in an open place outside and were 90 yards apart. Sometimes during ceremonies, Cro-Magnon would paint large cave paintings all over the cave walls. Some of the ceremonies include birth, death, puberty, or success of hunt. Sometimes, if it was a male that had died, during a death ceremony, they would decorate his skull with Arctic fox and wolf teeth. Also at this time, hunter bands had begun, which means that when Cro-Magnon went hunting, they would go in larger groups. They could also store food longer than Neanderthals by digging a hole and storing it underground.
Cro-Magnon's clothing was made out of furs, carefully sewn together to keep warm. They stitched using a needle made out of reindeer antlers. They used wild plants to dye cloth, and they're the first to weave. They used plant fiber and animal furs to weave with. They made necklaces out of the claws and teeth of a cave bear and cave lion.
For the first time ever, Cro-Magnon had pottery. Usually, to make pots, they would use clay, limestone, or sandstone. Then, they would fire it in a kiln to make it hard. They had drums and whistles, and they made a flute out of deer bone. Artistic conventions were passed down, and most of the paintings that they did on cave walls include animals or female figures.
Let's all celebrate the successful hunt together.
humans were discovering tools, weapons, and fire, they were also discovering music. This is our idea of the recreation of early humans discovering music.